Hello and welcome back to the 100-day art challenge. This video is number 62 of 100, and once again I will be visiting the Caffeine Heroes life drawing session, which I was fortunate enough to be invited to again. And this time it's a different model, and I love the poses. I'm going to leave a link in the description for her Instagram account. She's a great model, and I'll also have links in the description for Caffeine Heroes group and for Alex Castaneda. Very much appreciate their work. And for this pose, I remember just thinking it's a great pose. By the way, I've covered up the screen because the monitor, you can see the model, so I thought I best just pixelate the model and then upload and then cover the screen with the model. So that's why I've done what I've done. But it's good because then you can see what I'm drawing as well. But it's not as though this is how this isn't a live image of her. It's a still image, so she was still getting set up, I think. The point being, for this pose, I think it was maybe a 10-minute pose. And just like with the last video, if you didn't see yesterday's video, I will leave a link at the top right hand corner now. And it was I just panicked because I just thought, in 10 minutes what can I get done and what type of drawing do I want to do? And I made a decision which I'm quite glad I did. Let me explain. What I do when I'm in these sessions is every time a pose starts, I am deciding what style to go with. And a lot of the time I do a different style of drawing for each pose. Not on purpose, that's just what I do. I just start a drawing and then find myself halfway through with that style that I'm trying to finish. And for this one, I thought maybe if I do something a little bit more clean and minimal with the details, with the description. And I'm quite glad I did, like I said, because this one I think is one of my favourites, because it may not be proportionate or proportionately accurate. But it is quite a stylish little piece. There's one thing that I wish I would have done differently, and I will tell you what that is when it happens. Once again, I'm afraid that my right hand is obscuring the drawing, but at least you can see it a lot clearer than what you could with yesterday's video because it was on the desk. So that was a mistake that I'll try not to make again. But it's easily done because I want the comfort of having the camera removed from being right in front of me. But when I do, I have space on my right hand side and I don't have that space on my left, so I don't have the opportunity to place it in as good a position on the other side. I'll have to work on that. I'm sure there's some way to do it. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm going really slow with this pose. For a lot of the poses, I rush and I try to get something which is, full of expressive marks, and then I'm trying to get a bit of rendering and really trying to get the tonal values in there, and it doesn't quite work out, but it's trying to push for something. Other drawings which I quite like, and I will be uploading another one probably tomorrow, where I do a box to try and find the big shape around the model, to find what space the model is taking up. And that works quite well, even though what I do is I chip away at that just like it's a sculpture, and you have the shape of the model inside of the box, so you can see the box outside of the drawing. And I could either rub that out or leave it, and I quite like leaving the box because it's I think it's nice to see, and it almost looks like a design choice, which it isn't. But for this, you can't really tell at the moment, but I am keeping it fairly minimal and really clean. I mean, you can see, but you can't necessarily see that that's what I'm going to stick with. And that is the plan, is to go really minimal and not scrub the page with the charcoal stick in order to get a load of tone on there, which is what I do quite often. And sometimes I regret it. Other times I think it really adds something because it's adding tone to the surface is immediately giving warmth to the skin, and then you can chip away at that, and you can either pull it back to white with an eraser, or you can leave that tone as the lightest tone and then make everything else darker, which it depends how hard you've scrubbed the charcoal stick on the surface. I've found that sometimes I'm a bit too I don't know, I'm not quite sensitive enough with my pressure that I apply to the stick on the surface, but that's something which I need to work on. Again, if I had a plan when I started doing the drawing, I think they would work out much better. But on this occasion, even though I didn't have a plan, I kind of rolled with the first decision, which happened after the first few marks, and I think that kind of led to a stronger image than what I would have had were I to be a bit more haphazard with the marks. So that's why I quite like this one, is that, you know, I've got the confident decisions that I thought I will get in there, instead of doing like wispy lines where I'm trying to find where it is. I just think, no, stick with the line, give it shading, and then commit to what you've got, and try to make the most of it, really, whether it's out of proportion or not. See, here's where I realised that I could actually have a cleaner focus, so I zoom it in to get a better focus on the model, which is what I should do, really. There we are. So now it's a nice crisp image. Let's continue. And there's several things that I didn't do with this. For example, one thing that I normally do is get in the darkness of the hair, because it's such a big, bold shape. But I don't on this one. In fact, I don't think I draw the hair on the left-hand side. I think I just draw the hair on the right. But look at how good this pose is from the model. It's really nice, really great position. I think I like to draw this again as well. So it's just a lot to try and capture in a short period of time. In 10 minutes, you really run out of time trying to get a good drawing, unless you can just make marks fast and make good marks and good decisions fast, which I just struggle to do, to be completely honest. I kind of, you know, like I say, I just panic. You know, I panic when it comes to I'm running out of time. What's the best decision that I can make? And then it's just reacting to that first decision, whether it's good or not. But so far, this one I think has just got some strong elements to it. It's the shadows and the line work, I think, are balanced enough to make this drawing worthwhile. I wish I would have placed a central on the page, but a lot of the time I have the intention of doing a good drawing on the left, and then the next pose will be on the right, and making a big splash page full of nice drawings, and it never seems to happen. But the more I go to these sessions, the more I'm going to be able to make those splash pages work. And I think I'd like to do more drawings like this one. The one yesterday I quite like, because it's odd in the way that it has pretty clean line work, and then it has a smudgy shadow, which is interesting, and I don't mind it. It kind of almost reminds me of kind of cherubs and things like that. And my friend Gwen said it reminds her of Alphonse Mucho, which is a great compliment. And yeah, it's I think that one's just quite an interesting, strange piece, but I think it works. And then this one I like, because it's I think it just works in the kind of strength of the confidence of the marks that I made. Now this is the bit which I regret doing. What I'm doing here, which again you can't see because my hand's in the way, is I am dragging the charcoal stick over the hand, because if you look at the reference, the hand is in shadow, so I decide to add that shadow. And I can rub that out, but I'm going to show you what I did in the session, and I might rub it out in the future if I need to use this drawing for anything or want to chuck it in a frame, which I don't think I will, but I wouldn't mind redrawing it and not shading in the hand. But yeah, that was a weird choice to make, because nothing else on the drawing was shaded that way, so I wish I hadn't done that. Otherwise, you know, the dark shadow under the hand I think works well. The minimal marks for the legs I think works well. I mean, I don't mean to, you know, compliment myself too much, but I think this is all quite nice as far as a drawing goes. And even though, you know, the body isn't drawn accurately and the head shape isn't drawn accurately, I'm coming out with a fairly nice drawing, I think, anyway. It's something which I like, at least. But it's things like that, you know, doing the knee from the other side of the cross leg. It's just nice shapes, and that's what you get with this pose. It's just nice shapes, and if you can capture those in a way which are almost like a statue, then I think that can make quite a pleasant drawing. Trying to capture this hand as well, hanging over the left hand side there. Really nice pose, really great thing with the hand. I didn't really get the opportunity to do it, so the pose had finished by this point, I think. So that was the end of the pose, and I think this is where I probably just fiddle a little bit more with a couple of bits, which is always what I do when the time runs out, is to try and do a little bit more. But it was a great pose. It was a really interesting session. I really enjoy doing these types of things, and I encourage you to do the same. Try out life drawing. It's great lessons. But that's the drawing that I did. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.